Welcome back, everybody, here inside the analyst desk. I am Paul, joined alongside Smacks here at the July Mid-Testing Grounds Invitational. And Smacks, we just had a heck of an upset here of Glaive White over Glacial Esports. We've got a lot to break down.
Yeah, the 8 seed taking down the first seed in this bracket is certainly a sight to behold, and boy did we hold it here, Paul. We got to see a brutal performance on the Volley Bear from Demon in that last one, 9-0-4 on this ravaging bear. And yeah, I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty impressed with this 8th seed. I'm starting to think that the forfeit was definitely a winnable game. I don't know why they forfeit that last one.
Yeah, and going into it, we are like, okay, you're going to go with the Fiora. Okay, you're going to go with a 4-1 split. Let's see how it ends up working out. But Demon, when some of those early plays, Smacks, like, just I don't think we saw it coming, but when it hit, Glacial definitely didn't see it coming either.
Yeah, they really did not, right? We saw plays in every single lane from Demon attacking all three of them. He got that first kill for his team in the mid lane. Of course, the first blood went over to Chihuahua Dog, so props to him for making that gang stick, but he ended up going down to Demon, and Demon being the jungler, staying on the map, keeping up the jungle clear tempo, very, very important for that early game, and we saw it snowball as well. Only a 25-minute game. Very, very quick here. I have to commend Glaive for their team play most of all, because they had a lot of these early plays go really well. They had a lot of very supportive CC heavy champions in the Orianna for Stro, in the Ashe from Toast, and the Braum for Orion. They really set up well for Demon in all of these team fight plays. But that wasn't the only thing that was really strong for Glaive either. They also had this Fiora, Paul.
Yeah, that Fiora was disgusting. I mean, it ended up ultimately with 268 farm. So at the end, there was 13-5. We see Glacier come back, get a couple kills, and we're like, okay, maybe they're going to come back. And then all of a sudden, Fiora goes for a 1v5, and you're like, wait a second, this is actually viable. And like, if Dibble didn't go under tower, easily could have picked up a couple more kills, right? And then you're like, okay, this is away, this is done, closed case. So they're just gonna back and fix things here. But that just always having that presence around the map, they couldn't move anywhere without having to face Dibble. Ended up level 17 by the end, like just disgusting.
And they were just like choking Glacial Esports out of the game entirely, right? We saw every single time the Glaive went for a play, they had another person in another lane. Usually it was Dibble, because he was that side lane Fiora specialist. And they ended up taking all 11 turrets on the map. They didn't give up a single one to Glacial. It could have been a perfect game if they didn't die a couple of times. And it was really quite the showing here against our first seed team in the XLNC Invitational here. And Glacial, they're going to be sent home packing a lot earlier than I imagined they would have liked to be. Glaive looking really, really solid here in game one.
Yeah, when Glacier goes back and looks at this, they're going to have a couple of question marks from themselves. I mean, you touched on it. We saw that really nice early game from Chihuahua into the cage, got the early kill on the Stro, and was like, okay, maybe they're putting something together here. But then, I mean, we touched on it as we were watching it, and the casters did as well. I mean, Skiz started with that blasting wand, didn't exactly work around that glacial augment as much as we would have liked, and I think that cost them as they started to try to look for scaling.
Yeah, you'd think that he would know what a glacial item is. He's on Glacial Esports all teams here, but not going to be building that one right off the bat. Of course, he did realize his mistake and eventually did go for GLP and then the Twin Shadows. But the blasting one, that poor blasting one, still in his inventory at the end of the game. I don't want to harp on that too much, because that definitely wasn't the only thing that contributed to Glacial Esports' loss. Of course, they were falling prey to a lot of these early plays from Glaive, and I do have to commend them again. Glaive just had a really solid early plan. They had a lot of just plays that went exactly according to what they wanted, and I'm very impressed to see. As the 8th seed team, we might be seeing them in the finals, of course, but we do have one matchup before we get there, and that's going to be this next one on the stream here.
Yeah, coming up next, we'll have world-class Outlaws versus Ironic here. And man, if Demon's able to do that again, I mean, they're going to be poised for a long run. So for myself and Smacks, we're going to turn it back over to Axeman87 here and Finnick with the cast of our next game. Don't go anywhere. They're coming up.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for the analysis of the previous game, Smacks and Paul. My name is Finnick. Joining me on the deck today is Axeman87, and we are getting ready to go draft of semifinal number 2 tonight. World-class Esports Outlaws versus Ironic, the number 2 and 3 seeds of the tournament, duking it out, trying to make their way into the finals. Bans being rapid fire here. How are we feeling about them?
What's up, guys? It's XLNC, and I am already feeling pretty good about these bans. Finnick, love the Ezreal ban, Shen, Set, Aphelios, lots of solid meta bans, and you hate to see Drast lost just due to those solid meta picks coming through and really just winning a team the entire game. So I like to see those bans taken away. Caston, I feel, is a little bit more targeted towards Ironic, not quite the meta ban there, but it is the Graves first pick for World Class. This is a very competent jungler. Not without counterplay, not without maybe some stronger junglers right now. I think we just saw a massive gain on Volibear, and that would definitely be a competent pick here. But yeah, definitely a solid pick.
It's the all tech special for Ironic.
It certainly is.
The Callista Braum. Oh, the all-tech Adrian special, to be specific. Lulu being picked up here alongside the Asher for World Class. Good pick into the Callista. Graves already in the jungle. Dissuades the Trundle pickup from Ironic. We'll see what they decide to pick up in the jungle here. What are your thoughts about this bot lane so far, out of the context of the rest of the draft?
So Lulu is very strange for me at this stage. I feel like I'm still kind of on the Nami hype train for an Ashe enchanter, but you know, Lulu's been seeing a bit of a comeback here, so this isn't like the worst thing. The only thing I could think is that I might want to see more of an engage here come through, but into a Callista Braum, that's pretty rough. So maybe Lulu just kind of enabling Ashe to get to the late game isn't the worst thing ever. Kane coming through for Ironic, and this is a very solid pick here.
I don't like it when you're up against 3 ranged already.
Yeah, and that is the danger of picking Kane in the first phase, especially picking Kane into 3 champions you already know are going to be ranged, is you literally have to go blue Kane. I mean, World Class could put him in a situation where you literally have to be blue Kane or get red Kane very late into the game. And that is something I would definitely encourage. If you want to go like Urgot into just a mage or something here, I'd go for it, because that would put the Kane in a very rough position. Aatrox, so they're going to be a double Darkin comp here for Ironic if they do lock that in, and they do. So 2 Darkin here. To be honest, I feel like if you have Aatrox, you don't even want Rost, because that's just 2 Aatroxes.
That is just 2 Aatroxes, but also pretty nice. Interesting to see the Malphite here. I feel like not something we typically see being played top lane. Well, they're all AD, and that's why I was going for here. It's a solid pickup in another comp, especially when they have to pick an AP mid laner, and you have a Malphite, he's just going to be able to take Arcane Comet, make Aatrox cry in lane. Obviously, Kled is still a good option into the Aatrox, but if you know that, you know, it's fine taking a single melee champion into the Kayn. Cassiopeia being picked up in the mid lane as well. I'm just interested to see why the Malphite, not the Kled. I feel like Kled's a stronger matchup in the Aatrox. Obviously, it's all AD. You can play weak side top that way. But now you don't really have a strong lane from World Class as they pick up a Katarina in the mid lane here, kind of punishing the Cassiopeia pick from World Class.
Definitely. And this is a very strong punish, I would say. You know, depending on how you play the Katarina, Cassiopeia is going to have a very hard lane. And that's kind of rinse and repeat for every part of Ironic's comp so far, is it's just going to be very rough in lane for World Class in so many circumstances. I don't know how the Aatrox Malphite matchup goes. I would imagine, since Malphite is picking it into this full AD composition, that Malphite just stacks armor and makes Aatrox's life miserable. But I guess it kind of depends on how you itemize for the Malphite. I would say stacking armor is a fairly obvious itemization in this scenario, though.
Yeah, it's probably just going to be Arcane Comet. Keep the Aatrox out of your business in the early game. Obviously, even if you're going tank Malphite, you typically pick up the Arcane Comet anyway. It gives you a nice bit of slow and a little bit of poke in the lane when used in combination with the Q, as well as it enables you to take the Arcane Ring, as it were, and just kind of, you know, get 250 free mana. Hopefully I'm not wrong. Hopefully he doesn't pick Grasp. I've seen people pick PTA for some reason, even though it doesn't synergize with this kit at all, but you know, we'll see what Freshburger decides to do here in this matchup. I do think it's an alright matchup for Malphite. Obviously, it's not the most optimal matchup into the Aatrox, but seeing how much AD Ironic already has makes perfect sense. Moving on to the jungle matchup, though, we have this Kayn up against 4 ranged champions in a melee, versus Reels playing the Graves.
Yeah, and the Graves, I think, is probably the hottest pick. This is going to be, for me, all eyes on Graves. How they are able to execute this champion with their comp will be the most important thing for World Class here. We talked about them having a lot of rough lanes. Graves is the thing that's going to make those lanes a little bit easier for him. It's going to be able to bridge the gap a little bit here in the early game. You're staring down the barrel of this Kayn, which, while a massive pick, is not good at ganking in the early game. So this is an opportunity for Reels to maybe look at providing his team a little bit of help there in the early game. Graves definitely a champion that wants to try and garner advantages by out farming the enemy jungler, is not necessarily going to be able to do that to a Kayn. So I say you just kind of throw caution in the wind and say, all right, cool, I'm still going to farm and farm well. Obviously, I'm Graves, but I'm not just going to full clear on repeat every time. Maybe I'm just going to take 3 or 4 camps and then look for a gank here and there and try to get an advantage in the early game.
Yeah, and when we look at both of these junglers, right, Graves has quite a bit of early pressure, can invade onto the Kayn. Kayn needs to go top lane. Like we joke about not having 2 Aatroxes on the team, but Rost form is just so much better than Assassin form on the Kayn that if Xdark 573 decides to go for that top lane repeat gank late lane phase kind of style, then that can be punished with these dragons. As you mentioned in the first game of the night, Season 10 meta is basically just get dragons and win. So objective control has to be the name of the game from both these junglers, and Kayn can't get both Rost form and dragons.
Yeah, that's a great point. He has to go top lane for the Malphite, for that red dust. And yeah, I'm right there with you, Finnick. I'm going to need a trilogy of young adult novels explaining why you went blue Kayn before I ever accept there's a situation that it's better to take blue Kayn over red Kayn. Like, you just don't do it. Just don't do it. Like, I don't care if you're like Faker or something. You're not an assassin. Don't take blue Kayn ever. But yeah, you need red Kayn. He's not going to be able to stay on the bot side of the map because he has to get the dust from Malphite. Critically as well, you have to go top relatively often because the idea normally with Kayn is that you can get dust whenever you gank and that you can gank wherever you are on the map. If he can only gank when he's top side and he can only get dust when he's ganking here, he has to gank topside like all the time. So he literally can't go bot side for most of the time because you want to be getting form as soon as possible because the only thing worse than blue Kayn is like base Kayn.
Yes, pretty much. Moving on to the mid lane matchup though, this Katarina was counterpicked for the Cassiopeia from Ironic. I think this is going to be their strong lane this particular game. What do we make of the matchup? How do we think the Cassiopeia is going to fare? How do we think the Katarina wants to play this early game?
So a lot of this is on Katarina to be able to make the aggressive plays, to be able to kind of shut down Cassiopeia as much as possible. The difficulty here is that Katarina likes to, I would say, go for roams and go for aggressive roams too. So normally you'd pick Katarina into a situation where, maybe the lane matchup isn't stellar, but I can go bot lane and get whatever I want, or go top lane, get whatever I want, and come back with a triple kill or something like that, to the point where it doesn't matter to have a bad matchup. In this instance, Katarina has a fairly solid matchup here. This is pretty good. I mean, if we're looking at post level 6, you have a Kayn coming in with fairly solid ganks, especially providing just enough damage to be able to really round out the kill into Cassiopeia. And maybe you might want to stay in lane for this one. The only difficulty is then you don't get the roams up, you don't get the big triple kills, you don't get the big early game skirmishes that lead to objectives, things like that. So you kind of have to pick one or the other. Now, if the situation arises where Den is just kind of killing Charismeister on cooldown, not losing any resources for it or anything, and then can go roll that into a roam, it's going to be huge for him. You know, you hate to see those hyper carry Katarina games.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you have a Cassiopeia, much like when you're up against like an Anivia lane or someone else who doesn't really dominate lanes, but also just shoves tower instantly the second you leave, you have to be very, very cognizant of the wave state when you go into roam on this Cassiopeia, or it's not on the Cassiopeia, on the Katarina, because if she goes bot lane and doesn't get any kills, then all of a sudden you're down a plate and you got nothing for it. So Ironic needs to play this Katarina pick pretty much flawlessly, and lane, it should be an easy lane for the Katarina. It's just whether or not she can actually snowball that into the side lanes, into skirmishes, and as you said, into these neutral objectives, starting with the first dragon or two of the game. Moving on to the bot lane, though, we have this Ashe Lulu, excuse me, this is not Dota, there is no Luna, versus Kalista and Braum.
For me, I think Kalista Braum takes it. That might just be because I'm not as familiar with Lulu paired with Ashe. You know, I've seen a lot of COG Lulu recently, but I'm not really sure how it plays in the Ashe. I feel like this is probably a very volatile bot lane. What Ashe brings to the table that COG doesn't is just a ton of utility. So it's almost like this team has a COG Lulu, but then also a bonus invisible support with all of this Ashe utility coming out. So this is probably going to be a very solid bot lane, but I have a lot of belief in Kalista Braum. You drop Braum on the enemy team, and then you just kind of kite in and out. You know, you're orb walking on Kalista, and the enemy team just can't do anything to you. I'm looking at the enemy team, especially bot side early skirmishes. There's not a lot of engage, not when a Braum is standing in front of you, right? Most of your engage tools are Enchanted Crystal Arrow or just running at you, and that's not going to work against Kalista.
Yeah, and Kalista, obviously one of the more mobile AD carries. One of the more mobile AD carries that actually scales in a late game. Obviously, Lucian has fallen off in priority. Kalista's kind of taken his place. Scales a bit nicer in the late game. But speaking of the late game here, you have this Cassiopeia Ashe scaling versus really only Kalista as a scaling option on the side of Ironic. So you're looking at almost a timer for Ironic to win the game. What are your thoughts of these power spike timings as we are just about loaded in?
Between the two bot lines,
but between both teams.
Between both teams, so power spikes, a lot of late game power spikes for the red side here. I would say Kayn being probably the most notable, but Kalista right along with them, and that is going to be very effective for them there. A little bit later even is going to be the Ashe power spikes and Cassiopeia coming through too. And those are going to be a little bit more potent, I would say, but because they are later, it makes me wonder if they're going to come in at all. In terms of early game, I think the biggest thing for Freshburger up in the top side is going to be picking up that Bramble Vest early and going into, this is my third account. How does somebody have that account name? But, man, that's rough. Anyway, and just being able to shut down the Aatrox is going to be the biggest thing in the early game.
We're in a game.
After that, we are into game here.
On the blue side, world-class Outlaws, Freshberg on the top lane, Reels in the jungle, Charismeister in the mid lane, Kathy in AD carry, and Shot in support. Hopefully he doesn't throw away his shot.
Definitely, I would hope so anyway, here in the semifinals of the tournament. But over on the red side, this is my third account up in the top side on Aatrox. On the jungle position is X Dark, 5-7-3 on Kayn. The mid lane is Dennis Simp on Katarina. Down the bottom lane, it's Kind Sir on Kalista, and Blitz on Braum.
Yeah, and we saw a little bit of an early invade come in, which is why I was kind of like cutting off and going into team intros just in case. Ironic, not able to get the invasive ward down. Charismeister was able to sniff out something was going awry and backed up. So we're looking at nothing too insane on the starts here, except World Class Outlaws has some nice vision already towards the Ironic red side. Kayn actually starting Wolves instead of Raptors here. This is an interesting path.
Yeah, it is fairly different, I guess. It's probably fine, though. I think what he's going for here is just trying to avoid reels on Graves, because that is not a great fight for him early in the game. I think what we're probably going to see is him trying to get the inside track on the scuttle on the top side of the map and trying to get that before Reels makes his way to it. What he doesn't know, I think, is that Reels actually started top side, so Reels kind of onto him a little bit here. I'm not sure where Reels will go. We will have to see. Maybe Reels starts the path bot side for the rest of his camps. I think you kind of stay top, though. I think you have to be able to anticipate Dark's movements here.
Yeah, especially when you're on this Graves. It's really about the counter jungle and kind of the mind games in this early game. We see he opted for the full clear top, probably looking for a full clear bot and then a back. So Kane should be able to, with the ward on his blue buff, should be able to track the Graves fairly effectively. He's going to go for a first back here, grab his, not skirmisher's saber, excuse me, longsword, and he's going for a Tiamat?
Alright, well now I don't know what's going on. I've never seen Kane play this way. Maybe this is how you play blue Kane, Finnick. Maybe this is it, but Reel's in the bot lane.
Graves, getting the flash out, stand behind me, not available, but the Unbreakable was. And, yep, that's all you really need out of that early Graves gank.
And there's the gank, Finnick. Blows the flash, and he's out of there. Onto the scuttle here in the bottom side of the map. And Dark is looking to take the rest of his camps. He's going to be clearing, like, super fast with the Tiamat. I have never seen this. He doesn't actually have the Tiamat yet, keeping in mind.
He's got components for it. That's the only thing those items can go into. So
yeah, I mean, it's definitely the Tiamat, but it's kind of crazy he backed without the gold to pick it up, because I feel like he's just super slow. But here's the fight, or maybe not. Yeah, Real's disengaging on that one. Doesn't want that fight just yet. Dark going for topside scuttle.
Nice Infernal Chains. Freshburger without the mana here, just not able to Q. Typically how you want to play this matchup is Aatrox goes in for a trade. You wait until he goes for the Infernal Chains. When he goes for the Infernal Chains, you then pick your Q, run out of that one. If he goes for the 3Q start, after he does his second Q, you put your Seismic Shard down. So a little bit of a difficult trade if you don't have mana on Freshburger's side. That's why, obviously, you see him go for the ring here. Kind Sir, though, is exhausted. Here comes Rails. Exhaust lands from Blitz. He's looking for the block, but he can't. And the first blood goes over to Reels, right onto the Callista. World-class Outlaws reganking bot lane, and Kane invading on the jungle. So a little bit of compensation for that, but obviously, with this Dragon Prio and the Dragon spawning in 10 seconds, I'm not sure how much that will help out the Ironic side.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I really feel like the Dragon is a little bit more important than pretty much any advance you can get for yourself. They pick up First Blood, which is fantastic here, but not much else. Kathy taking the reset here. This is probably just going to give world-class... just gonna give the red side Dragon, I think, as Kind Sir and Blitz do have the priority on it, but the jungler's top side. Both junglers are, actually. It's a little strange.
Yeah, I feel like you might be able to go for an earlier Dragon here from either team. You have plenty of objective take with Callista and with Cassiopeia and Ashe, so it's not like it's difficult. I would like to point out, though, runes-wise, obviously Arcane Common in the top lane. Phase Rush on the Graves is pretty common. Cassiopeia now going with the Phase Rush instead of the Conqueror. I'm so happy she is back to that broken rune instead of the original broken rune. But speaking of broken runes, Katarina is taking freaking Conqueror instead of Electrocute, because that is how you build Katarina now.
Yeah, I guess. To be honest,
She's going
don't
for
see
the
too many
Gunblade
cats.
Death Stance build if she does that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think Gunblade is probably the best in my mind anyway, but I am not, a huge Katarina expert. What I do know about Katarina is this Katarina is having a pretty rough lane. I'm not really sure how that's boiling down, but I guess it would have to be the ranged melee matchup that's kind of breaking down a little bit. I think she's probably going for the all-in here soon.
This should be an easy matchup for the Katarina, though. Like, she's down in CS, which not necessarily surprising, but you should be winning trades. Reels, though, on Xdark 573 is down 2 levels, hasn't been power farming as much as the Kane has, so actually just yeeting out of there, and that's something we haven't really talked about. Reels has been spending a lot of time inside waves and hasn't been farming at all, and Xdark 573 is 2 levels up on this Kane.
Definitely, and in terms of XP's way ahead, it's going to be fine.
On to Kathy, gets the Q down, flash out of the way as Kind Sir tries to find some damage with the spears. Shot not going to waste his as he makes his way out. Flash coming in, here comes Den as a simp, but the near side already lands, and he's down! Chrismeister with the 3-man ulti, able to get back down onto Den as a simp. Flash out, double kill for the Cassiopeia! Kind Sir, the next one to fall, no triple, Real steals that away. But that was a great cast ult, a great re-engage, and world-class Outlaws go up 4-0, take the first dragon of the game.
Yeah, we talk about so many variables, so many little advantages you get yourself. At the end of the day, if you go like 0-3 in a team fight early in the game to lose the dragon, that's all it takes. That's all it takes to lose all the advantages you get for yourself. But
especially with 2 of those kills go to pass.
It's just insane. I'm not really sure how that happened. It really is just like an outplay from Chrismeister and Reels, just putting the team on their back and saying, all right, let's get it done, guys, and going in there and doing it. So massive for them to pick up this early dragon here, too. Mountain Dragon literally made for Malphite.
Yep. His favorite. Get more armor, get bigger, do more damage. You know how it is. Reels looking for this is my 3rd account here. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, here comes Xdark 573, ulting under tower onto the Cassiopeia as the cat gets in, shuts down the Cass. When you're on the top lane, this is my 3rd account, already pumps the ulti. Reels just gonna kite back in, wait for Aatrox to finish his ult, and not gonna go for the follow-up damage.
Yeah, not gonna get in there. Keeping in mind, Reel's still behind. He's behind his opposing jungler. Further, even still behind the solo laners. So these ganks, while he has ganked often, are starting to get real difficult for him as he's falling behind literally everybody on the map. It's pretty much just bot lane that he's on the same level with at the moment. And yeah, crazy gank in the mid lane. Chrismeister does go down eventually, but I have to imagine Dark is getting a lot of blue dust, which is probably not what he's looking for, as we have covered extensively here now. He does have Dark Harvest, though, and I've just noticed that. So maybe we're going Blue Cane. I don't know.
I mean, you're into a Malphite Lulu, though. Like, you ain't gonna kill people that quickly.
Oh, believe me, Finnick. I know. I'm just reporting the facts here. Maybe that's what he's going for. I've never seen like a Red King go for Dark Harvest, so you know, I think it's always Conquer for me anyway, but I guess Conquer is a little bit hard to stack up now. So
I mean, he hasn't gone onto the Malphite at all this game. Like, he's only been able to go on a ranged champions as he goes back in onto the Cassiopeia, gets an ult down, able to get on to Xdark 573, but the cat dodges that one out with the Shunpo, so that should be just a little bit of an ult and nothing else. Retiaro going to be taken by the Graves, though. Reels actually catching up quite nicely to Xdark 573, still 20 CS down, but if we look at the gold, only about 100 down, and only a level down in XP, so not the end of the world for the Graves. Also has slightly magical boots, so that is 300 gold equalizing, as far as value is concerned. Meanwhile, Freshburger doing Malphite things, has the Sunfire Cape or not the Sunfire Cape, the components for the Sunfire Cape. Interesting to see he didn't go for the Bramble Vest.
I was just about to say, yeah, it's insane to me that he didn't go for Bramble Vest, but trying to rush Sunfire Cape, I feel, is kind of like more of a passive late game scaling type deal. Like, he wants that big power spike earlier, but also this is just a way for him to clear waves faster, getting the stack of Immolate from Sunfire Cape, and he wants to just kind of sit back, be hard to gank. It's almost like he's expecting Dark to try to spam gank him top lane, which is what I think we all agreed is what Dark should have been doing, but he's not. So yeah, I think the Bramble Vest definitely would have been a better pickup. As it stands, he is going to get a faster Sunfire Cape.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, right? Bomby Cinder does okay against Aatrox. It's not as good as Grievous as X-Dark 573 in the W. Finding his way on a Chrismeister, doesn't have the ultimate. Ulted by the Kane and the Cat, gets the ult down. Here comes Reels, looking for more, gets the blind down. Chrismeister gets kill on X-Dark as he takes up the tower shots. 1 for 1 now. This is my third account though. Looking for the QQ, gets the W, but the ult comes in from the Malphite. It's a 1 for 1, it's a 2 for 2. Fresh Booger gets the kill. Now, meanwhile on the bot lane, shot down to 200 health, gonna be able to kite out with Kathy on the Ashe. Jungler and mid lane traded, and Fresh Burger on the board, as well as this is my third account.
Yep, they trade 2 for 2. And it is Kaiser shoving in the bot side here. Teleport channeled from Chrismeister, the bot lane.
Looking for more. Doesn't have the ultimate, but here comes the Roman stand behind me. It's going to get stunned up, though, by the enchanted Crystallero, taken out by the Fate's Call. Couple ults down. Summoner on the enemy AD carry. And the dragon spawns just now.
Yeah, dragon up here, Kathy and Reels, and the rest of World Class are going to be taking this dragon. This is their second one here too, starting to look real rough for Ironic.
Oh, no, it's a Cloud Drake. It's a Cloud Soul.
Yikes.
That feels bad.
That's not too bad. I mean, if you're looking at champions like Ashe, like Graves, getting that movement speed down, like Cassiopeia especially, and getting all that bonus movement speed on the ultimate if you pick up the soul, could be huge for him. It's not an ocean soul or anything, but, you know, still pretty good.
How close is Kane to transformation, by the way?
I don't think you can tell from the spectate client. I would say from the amount they're fighting, if he's going for Blue Cane, he's probably pretty close. Maybe a minute or two, but... Oh, he actually has Blue Cane. Yeah, he has it right now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he has Blue Cane, so did go for Blue Cane.
Flash? Woof. Fresh Burger.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, Malphite flashes there. So does X-Dark. So some anticipated flashes there, but yeah, we do have Blue Cane Summoner's Rift, man, and no dragons. Doesn't have too much by the way of I guess jungle success really, but does have quite a bit of CS. Take a look at the individual gold between the two, and it's pretty much dead even between the two junglers.
Fresh Burger a little bit late on the queue in these trades, so he's coming out behind, still getting caught up in the Infernal Chains, so has to be a little bit more conscientious of how he uses that ability. Meanwhile, Dennis Simp has a completed Gunblade. I'm going to expect the Death Stance due to the fact that it's Conqueror Katarina. This has been the most common second item on her in solo queue for the last couple patches, so we'll see if she decides to go for that build or go for the more traditional second item of something like Death Cap or the Zoni's Hourglass. Meanwhile, though, trades happening around the map. No kills in the last minute or so. Dragon spawning in about 3 minutes. Baron in 5.
Yeah, and game state definitely leaning heavily in favor of World Class here at the moment. There's still a couple things going well for Ironic, and that is the top lane. Really, it's just this is my third account.
Oh, here comes X-Dark 573. Braum pumps the ultimate. Dennis the Sip is already here. Knockups land. Blitz taking down very low. Here comes the Cat ult. He gets the reset onto Kathy. Looking for more. Shot goes down to Blitz. And they pick up 2 in the bottom lane. And Graves is nowhere near to gank this top lane. That's just going to be a free first tower.
Yep, tower goes down. Meanwhile, gank at the top lane for Reels.
It's just a little bit too late. Goes for the phase rush. Able to get the ultimate down with the unstoppable force. Here comes the Aatrox ultimate for collateral damage. Picks up the kill. Reel's able to trade 1 back, but not able to get the tower as the next Rift Herald does spawn in about a minute here.
Yeah, so gold across the map, dead even right now. A little bit in the favor of Ironic after that play in the bot lane, but things still not really leaning heavily either way. Rift Herald about to spawn top side of the map, and it is Dark that has the inside track on that, but he's upstairs, up in the top lane. It's Could be a fight. It's going for
Looks
Reels.
on to Reels, gets a lot of damage down, pops the ultimate. Reels goes down, and X-Dark 573. We were down your blue cane, but it looks like you're all right. Stun lands though, and now Dennis is grounded, gonna flash out. Poison from the cast, gonna take him low, but he won't be able to get the kill.
Definitely, Katarina almost going down there.
Teaches me to say something bad about Assassin Kane. He's 3-2 right now, ahead of this Graves. Kind Sir looking for some damage down as they go for this second Rift Herald of the game.
And I'd just like to go ahead and say now, I'm gonna need to see more from this blue game before I agree with the pick with this decision here. I mean, yeah, he's got a positive KDA, but I mean, like, okay. Has built a tier now here, and they are going for, I would say, the Dragon here in 30 seconds. But like you mentioned, it's a Cloud Drake, so either side might want to just kind of leave that one up.
Yeah, Ultimate CDR is nice on the Malphite, I will say, but the soul itself isn't the best. Like, it's not the worst, it's just not the best. You feel?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think if you're world class, you probably start going for the Dragons. You only need 2 more, right? And that's just 6 minutes for you, or 10 minutes. Excuse me. I don't know why it was 3-minute cooldown Dragon for a second there. It's just 10 minutes. That puts you at like 28 minutes. That's not very long at all. But yeah, I think you definitely go for these. Ironic is in the area though. That's unfortunate for him. Both top laners have teleports, so this could be a 5v5. Teleport channel from Freshburger. Answered by
this is my third account. They're looking for the fight. Freshburger, we got a nice 50 to Channel. Chris Arrow misses. Freshburger gets a 2-man ultimate though. As this is my third account, goes down very low. Cassiopeia, meanwhile, able to peel onto the Katarina. She goes in with the ult, still able to get the kill, but she goes down. And the Kane ults down onto Reels. Here comes the damage. Gone a killing spree as he picks up the kill on the AD carry. It's a 2-4-1. Both junglers still remain. It looks like they're just gonna keep posturing around this.
Yep.
Here comes X-Dark 573 though. He wants to find his way on the shot, but the polymorph hits. Chrismeister gets the damage down. The shutdown lands. It's 3-3. 2 for 2. Reels looking for his way back into the fight. Chrismeister trying to kite aggressively, but he knows that this is my third account is in the area. Kind Sir, flash forward, getting the spears down on the shot. Here comes Reels, the damage from the Cassio. He gets 2. This is my third account on the run as the double kill comes through on to Chrismeister. He's looking for more. On to this is my third account. Triple kill for the Cassiopeia, and that was some fancy footwork.
I can't believe it, Fennec. He did so well there. Got the triple down. I think he got kills at the start of the fight too. Might be unofficial pen. I'm not sure. It should be Dragon going down, but Freshburger is already back in the area. Neither jungler here, so this is just going to be the Dragon staying up. Nobody takes it just yet. I would imagine we see both sides rally around it once again. It could be ironic that just decide to trade back the Baron, though. We'll have to see.
I would like to point out, Chrismeister at the beginning of that fight just solo ulted onto the Katarina to buy time. That was such a smart move, right? Because typically as a cast, you want to go for these big ultis, but sometimes that's all it takes. Getting the assassin out of the fight as quickly as possible. The Dragon gonna be started here for the side of Ironic, but it looks like the fight might still come out. Freshburger has the unstoppable force on again. Dennis Simp a little bit far away from the fight to get in. Blast counter to the wall. Reels looking for the smite fight. Here comes the unstoppable force of the ECE. Right back into the cast ultimate. Getting on to everyone. Dennis Simp gonna try to find his way on a shot as he does. Able to get the kill. Aatrox pops the ultimate, but it's all too little. It's all too late. The cat gets on to the cast, but it's already out of the bag. As the double kill lands for Reels. The Dragon goes over. World Class Outlaws get a 4 for 2 fight.
Yeah, they are on soul point now for the Cloud Soul, and it's going to be pretty big for them. I think this movement speed could be huge. That is one advantage that in the late game, Blue Cane would normally have over Reels, is just tons of map mobility, but with this Cloud Soul, a little bit of that is taken away. Now, I don't think enough to necessarily say Reels is, on same par. This is Blue Cane. Level 12 right now with Moby boots, so literally nothing could be more mobile, but the Cloud Soul helps. It helps a little bit, and definitely the alt CDR is not an unwelcome factor either. You mentioned the Cassiopeia ult coming in with huge effect in the last team fight, or the team fight before last, excuse me. And yeah, that's going to be on much shorter cooldown with all these Cloud Dragons stacked up.
And on top of that, Freshburger off a respawn. They go for the second one. Gets a two-man ult as Kathy goes in with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. That was so nice and coordinated from them. Able to get the CC lockdown on a 3 as Dennis Simp was already zoned out of the fight, had to make his way in. Beautiful work from World Class Outlaws.
Absolutely, and beautiful work from Chrismeister too. They're going to be 3-manning this my account.
Gets the ult down, Chin Crystal Arrow hits,
boy.
and this is my third account, falls
Wow.
2-shot through the Pix autos.
Yeah, the Pix Auto's taking the kill there. The only kill for shots so far, so not doing too bad in the case.
Oh, here comes XR573 though. He's looking for more, but here comes Reels looking for the damage. Lulu ult onto himself. XR573, half health, pops the ultimate to stay alive for the time being, but he's popping right back into their enemy DPS. Here comes Reels doing some damage. XR573 stays alive as Blitz ends up being the next one to fall. Taken out by the face call, but Reels over the wall onto Blitz, gets the kill. Chris Meister picks it up. Meanwhile, Cat gets the reset, but he still gets taken down by the Ash. Shut down for the Cat, but it's already a 2-for-1.
All right, what a fight. And I'm pretty sure we just got raided by the last hit cons with 36, something like that. Thank you so much for the raid. We are in the midst of a huge push here from World Class, and they are taking it down the mid lane of Ironic. It's the blue cane for Ironic here, desperately trying to make something happen in the mid lane, but just cannot. World Class are going to be pathing to the Baron. Goodness sake, Finnick.
That was these turnarounds, right? Like, you're not even thinking it's a disengaged comp. You don't see the Gragas, you don't see the Janna, right? But even without the solid disengage that those champions bring, Chrismeister and Kathy are able to just kite out so effectively that their engage tools just act as disengage, and then when they want to re-engage, Reels is already there.
Absolutely. Kiting is exactly what these champions want to do and what they're good at. So yeah, the disengage from him is huge. Freshburger, is he caught out? We'll have to see.
Yes.
I would say probably so. He's unstoppable force to get a little damage onto Kind Sir there, but end of the day, not going to be able to pick that up. Now it's 4v5 here. I'm not sure if World Class are going to be able to make the comeback onto this objective.
They want to find their way on the Baron, but this is still a little bit risky. They have the Callista for double smite, so this might just end up going over. But if Cassiopeia can find a flank, there are 5 people in the pit, and she's got a lot of AoE, and they're going to peel off the dragon anyway. Shot caught in the infernal chains. No! Oh, look out. Here comes the cast ulti, gets on to 2. This is my third account, goes down. Here comes Dennis Sip trying to find his way, but it's already ulted by the Lulu. That's 2 to the Cassio as the Grace picks up a kill onto the enemy support. 3 for 0 around the Baron pit. They go on to the objective as the Malphite respawns. 4v5 ain't no thing like a chicken wing.
I don't know how they won that fight. I mean, there was so much AoE damage coming down, like hitting every single member of Ironic constantly. And talking about sustained damage, this Baron is going down incredibly fast here. And they are 4v5. Like we mentioned, there's only 4 members hitting this objective right now.
She has
and
the
it is
injuries.
going down.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
she's on 3 items at 25 minutes.
yeah, no, it's insane. I mean, and talk about Kathy, even on 2 items here, the Ruins and Bork, still doing tons of damage to multiple members of the enemy team. And that's really what allowed them to win that 45, is just so much damage coming through and no real answer to it. I mean, there's no assassination coming through from Dark on anybody. The same thing for Dennis Simp. There's just no damage coming through from a very high damage comp. You gotta get the target access down.
Reels finds Kind Sir, but it might be turned back around. Not able to get the Ren Proxos. Collateral damage does a lot of damage. Cass gonna pop the ulti, but Reels caught out by the enemy jungler, but he stays alive. Kathy picks up the kill. Meanwhile, this is my third account, losing a 1v1 to the Malphite. He doesn't even need the ulti.
That is insane. And here's the crazy part. There's a lot of armor on Malphite right now. He's got 2 no magic mantles. I don't really know why, but he's
going
still
for
winning fights. Yeah, he's still going for fights, and this is my third account, still winning those. Does not have healing reduction. Okay.
I mean, it's fine, I guess. Death Stance is going to be completed on the
I
Aatrox really
guess.
soon. Cat, meanwhile, ended up going for the Luden's Echo, which I feel like is just not the optimal Cat build right now. I really like the Death Stance on her. I know that some people don't like it after, don't like it as much as when the Death Stance changes first came out, but I still think it's a very good item on her, especially in these particular scenarios where she gets blown up pretty quickly. But I digress on that point.
Yeah, especially in conjunction with Gunblade, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. You're building like a more traditional Katarina, but why are you going Conqueror then? Right?
Yeah, that would be my point as well. You take Conqueror for the survivability in these fights, so you don't get blown up, so your ultimate can really shred down the entirety of the enemy team. And we're not seeing that. We need, from this Katarina anyway, better target access, but then just more upfront damage. Like, you need to put some of the enemy carries in the ground. It's not necessarily that you need to stay alive in these fights. You just need to kill something in this fight, and it's just not happening for the Katarina right now.
And the other thing is, right, they don't really have any good way to engage fights. They have Braum and Kalista, but Kalista is using her Face Call on Braum defensively for the most part, so you don't even get, like, the Kalista Braum engage where they're, like, a mile away. She Face Calls, he goes in with the Glacial Fissure, and now it's just, like, once Glacial Fissure's popped, you don't really have any way to engage. You don't really have much in the way of disengage outside of Aatrox. And these fights just keeping on going in favor of World Class Outlaws, keeping on kiting them out, as we said. They pick up the turret in the bottom lane as they potentially look for the inhib towers in both lanes.
Yep, and I don't know if we mentioned, but Cloud Soul was picked up by World Class at some point, so they now have 10% passive movement speed all the time.
Freshburger just got Unstoppable Force to get out there. He's done his job on the split push here. He doesn't even have Baron buff, so... You know, totally fine. Inhib towers go down in both lanes. Inhib's exposed in all three. Inhib already down in the mid lane. We'll look for more. Blitz goes on the ult, but he only gets one as the ult comes back out from the Katarina. Not able to find it. Chris Meister's unstoppable, and the collateral damage picks up the kill on the Kalista. Fate's Call blown, and all for naught. World Class Outlaws looking to end the game here.
They certainly are. And I think they're gonna do it, Finnick.
This is my third account just melts. He's gone. And Katarina pops the ult, but it's already taken out by the Zoni's Hourglass. Extract 573 gets taken out very low, as is the Katarina. Real's gonna try to case to get the ace, but it will be the game and the finals appearance for World Class Outlaws. They're moving on to finals. Unstoppable Force picks up the kill with the W.
Just adding insult to injury there at the end for Agstar. Super rough, but yeah, there was I don't want to continue to harp on the draft issues that we saw here, because I feel like I'm beating a dead horse a little bit here, but there's some execution issues, but mostly I just want to talk about the positives coming down for World Class. What a monster Cassiopeia game. Just from start to finish, everything was so fantastic. Doing very, very well. Really enabled the entire of the team to play this well. I think Freshburger, Reels, Kathy all had good games, but not really this good. Not as good as it turned out for them here. Quizmeister is absolutely hard carrying. That triple kill in the mid game, so huge for them, and picking up Dragon Soul as well is really just a marker of a dominant team. If you get the Dragon Soul with the enemy team picking up, I'm pretty sure 0 objectives in this game. You just hard stopped.
Yeah, and they will be they will be playing against the winner of Glaive White versus We Love Solbert in tonight's finals. That game, of course, you can catch over on the XLNC 2 or XLNC Esports 2 channel. All that being said, though, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we'll get the analyst desk, of course, Smax and Paul on to talk about the previous game. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of the XLNC July Midweight Invitational.